Hello everyone, I hope you're well. Excuse the bags under my eyes. Although I've been very blessed and my son is now sleeping a lot longer through the night, I still get really tired. So I have my tea here. I am just going to have a chat with you about how I prepared for labour. So I think if you've watched my previous video all about my birth and how little Isaiah came into the world and how much of a tumultuous time it was, you'll know that it wasn't the most straightforward. And despite all these things that I did, I still had a bit of a bumpy journey. I still had to have an episiotomy. I still had to have some help along with oxytocin and to help me progress. He got here safely, so I don't think they did any harm whatsoever, and only did good, in all honesty. So the first thing that I want to mention is hypnobirthing, and I spoke about this extensively in my other video, but hypnobirthing was amazing for me. It really calmed me down. It helped me learn about the process from less of a medical perspective but more of a individual holistic perspective, looking at the whole picture, not just the hardcore baby coming out, all the medical side of it that I'm more aware of. So that was really helpful for me. It kept me relaxed as much as I possibly could be at a time like that, and it gave my husband something to focus on as well, and something to do to help him feel like he was doing his part in getting the baby out and helping me along through it. So hypnobirthing was amazing. That was just an online course that I did because I was in Cyprus, so I couldn't go to one in the UK that I had my eye on. So that was really helpful. The second thing that I did was pregnancy yoga, prenatal yoga, and I suffered with SPD, something that I also talk about in my birth video, and I suffered with that from probably about 14-15 weeks onwards, and I've heard that it happens earlier and earlier with each subsequent pregnancy, so that is really unfortunate. Just straighten this up. And I plan to have more children by God's grace, so not looking forward to that. But prenatal pregnancy yoga really helped. It kept me moving, it kept me supple, and I think it helped him work his way down and become engaged quite early as well. So I ate a few things as well that are considered to be good for bringing on labour. I was taking evening primrose oil, and I also ate some dates quite regularly. I think I had 6 dates a day. I just wanted to have the most natural labour possible, and I thought all these things would kind of keep things moving and get things going as quickly as possible. So those were some things that I had: the evening primrose oil, the dates. I also inserted the evening primrose oil as well from all my online research, and I spoke to my doctors about this, of course, before and after as well, to just check that everything was okay, that I was doing that, and it's just an oil and it was fine. And the whole way that it works is that it's just estrogens, and that's just meant to propitiate the whole process. So I had this massive fear of tearing, and I think every first-time mum definitely has a fear of it, which is normal. But the majority of women tear. I think it's something crazy, like 90% of women have some form of tear. And I decided to engage in perineal massage. Usually it's much easier if you have a partner that can do it for you, but I was in Cyprus, so it just involved me with my massive pregnant belly trying to maneuver and get that done. So I won't go into detail about how you do that. You can look at that online in your own time, but that's something that I did, and I think it did help, because with the first couple of pushes, the majority of him was out, his head was out, it was just the shoulders, and I hadn't torn because of that. It was just because of the speed at which they needed to get him out with his heart rate dropping. That's why I had the episiotomy, not because he couldn't fit, if you know what I mean. So I think if anything helped the most in this video that I did personally, it would be the perineal massage, so I really would recommend that. for a first-time mum that hasn't, or a first-time mum or someone that hasn't had a vaginal birth before. How I prepared for postpartum, I watched so many YouTube videos and did a ton of research as to how I would feel afterwards and what I'd need. So I made sure I had a peri bottle to squirt down there every time that I peed because I knew it would sting. I unfortunately did not have a bath in Cyprus. I only had a shower, so I couldn't have a sitz bath, but a lot of people recommend that. I invested in Tux pads, and oh my gosh, they were a lifesaver. They're coated in witch hazel, and there's something about it that's just so soothing. I mentioned, I think in my other video, that I popped a stitch. Yeah, I popped a stitch. It was horrific. It was getting in and out of the car that I did that, and I could not face the thought of my doctor going back down there and restitching. So I just didn't do anything about it. There were a lot of stitches. They were very close together. I got my husband to have a look. They're very close together, so it didn't make that much of a difference. So aesthetically, everything's fine, if you were wondering. But yeah, I think those pads really helped. They're just like circular pads, like probably about this big, and I just put 2 on top of the pad that I was wearing to change them regularly, and it was just so soothing, and I think it really sped up the healing process, to be honest. I think the peri bottle and the pads, I made sure I had a ton of heavy duty maternity pads. Like, you need more than the average sanitary pad. I bought always sanitary pads. I thought, yeah, I'll be fine. But no, you need like hardcore, thick, nappy style, first few days afterwards anyway. And then you can move down to like just what looks like more of a normal pad, but it's very thick. That was a very quick little tidbit of how I got through postpartum and what I bought to prepare for postpartum and for labour. I would probably do all of these things again, except maybe the dates and the evening primrose oil. Next baby, I'll definitely try with the perineal massage again, and I'll look over my hypnobirthing course. I'll definitely do a pregnancy yoga course again because that was invaluable. And I'll get all of the same postpartum recovery tools again. So I hope this was helpful if you are about to have a baby and need some friendly advice, and these are these things that I use. I'm not advocating that you should eat or take anything that you've not consulted your own obstetrician or GP about. Just that disclaimer so no one sues me. Bye.